Hello, hello. I'm super happy to be here. So my name is Guillaume Follet from Liquidity Network, and today I'm going to speak about NOCUST, a securely scalable commit chain. So I will not go into the detail of blockchain scalability right now, but today we're going to look into a category of solutions called Layer 2. So Layer 2 means that we build a protocol on the top of an existing blockchain in order to make off-chain transactions. So we have two big categories of Layer 2 protocols. The first one is two-party payment channels, so such as Lightning Network or Raiden. In two-party payment channels, we have three phases. So first, a channel opening, where two parties will lock funds. Once this is done, we can make off-chain transaction. The channel is live and we can send coins back and forth. And after a period of time, there will be a dispute closure mechanism on-chain. Now, there is a second category called commit chains, such as Plasma and NOCUST. And today I'm gonna detail NOCUST. So a commit chain consists of an operator that's going to facilitate transaction for a group of users. And there is only one phase, which is a periodic commit. Okay, so how does it work in detail? So the operator is going to commit on-chain a Merkle root at regular interval of time. So the operator commits a Merkle root. The users makes off-chain transaction by talking to the operators, and they exchange the signature. And after some period of time, the operator gonna commit the new account state. And this goes on and on indefinitely. So there is an important thing here, this period between two commitments, we call it a round. And right now in the current mainnet version, one round is about 36 hours. Now, at each round, there is something very important that the user should do is it has to audit his account. And this is necessary to ensure that the operator didn't cheat and didn't, for example, steal users' funds. Okay, so this commit chain can work without any collateral money. However, you will get delayed finality. So in the case of NOCUST, the round period is 36 hours. Therefore, once I make a transaction, I will have to wait quite some time for my transaction to be included into the Merkle root and committed on chain. Now the operator can put up collateral, and this is very nice because that will make the finality of the transaction instant. So basically we have this round period and the operator can ensure not yet committed payments to make transaction finality instant. And further, like the collateral for the users can be allocated for all users in one single on-chain transaction. Now we're going to look at some few user experience trick, which is interesting with such commit chain. So for example, users can receive funds while offline, meaning that they don't need to countersign a transaction in order to receive money, which is not always the case with state channels, for example. And you get similar user experience to what we are used to with regular on-chain transactions. And it is instant. However, the recipient of the transaction still needs to audit his account once per round. This won't go away. Another interesting thing is you can join the network without making any on-chain transactions, such as opening a channel. So to join the network, you just need to send a signed message, off-chain message to the operator, And ideally, you will never need to touch the blockchain, which is slow and not good user experience. So to wrap up, we have delay finality without collateral, instant finality with collateral. For the recipient of the transaction can be offline, sorry, and you can join without any on-chain transaction, and we have fair mass exit. So fair mass exit means that no matter what happens, the user will always be able to exit the chain with his money. So if we look at it, this looks like a centralized system, right? So yes, from an architecture perspective, it is centralized. However, it is non-custodian, and this is very important. So the worst thing that can happen in this system is that you can be censored. So basically, the operator can prevent you from making a transaction if he wants. However, what he cannot do is stealing your coins, double spending coins, minting new coins, or prohibiting you from exiting. So this is very important because that means that at any point in time, if I wish, I can exit no matter what. And in the future, we envision that there will be several of these payment hubs, so I can just move from one to another if I wish to. So in NOCUST, the key innovation is the data structure that make any misbehavior from the operator very obvious. And this data structure is, so it's a Merkle tree account-based, not UTXO-based. And so each leaves are one user account, and we have the transaction subtree at the bottom. Okay, so now we're gonna look at some attacks. So like how could, for example, a malicious user or malicious operator attack the system, and how we prevent this. So first, let's consider the case where the operator will simply disappear. So here is the first commitment, then we make 100 transactions, and then the second commitment comes, one more, and we do some more transactions, and then after this one, during the 12 hours, we make 30 more transactions, and then the operator disappears. It never responds again, and yeah. So transactions from 1 to 200 are fine. The users can go to the smart contract of the commit chain and claim their fund back without any problem. However, the transaction that happened after the latest checkpoint, they were never committed on chain, and they will never be because the operator is gone. And they are sort of reverted. However, we have this insurance pool, this collateral. So the users that made this 30 last transactions can go to the insurance pool and get their money back as well. Okay, now we're gonna look at double spends. So Bob is a malicious user. He has 2 accounts, Bob and Bob Prime, and he's gonna try to double spend to Alice and to Bob Prime, his own account. He makes the first transaction to Alice. He tried to make a second transaction to Bob, but it does not work because the operator sees it, and he won't let that happen. So easy. Now, more interesting, the operator is malicious as well. So Bob is in control of the operator. And in this case, yes, like Bob will be able to make 2 valid transactions to Alice and Bob Prime. However, after some period of time, when this will be committed, the users will come online and audit their account. And because of the data structure, it will be immediately obvious to them that there is actually more Ether in this commit chain than there is actually on the smart contract. So like the commit chain is kind of running on a fractional reserve right now, and users are able to challenge and to roll back this checkpoint to the latest valid state. Another attack that the operator could attempt is to make an unauthorized transfer, so basically to just steal coin from someone. And this victim will have to audit his account. He will notice it and open a challenge that will lead to a rollback in time to the latest valid state. Okay, so how much does it cost to operate such commit chain? So like the checkpoints are fairly cheap, like about 10 cents per checkpoint, and that leads to a cost of less than 10 USD per month to operate this. Now user storage, and this is very important because we want to do light client. We want the users to not have to download the whole account state. We just want it to download his own account and that's it. And we can do that. The user will have just to download the few last checkpoints. Now, user availability. User has to come online once every 36 hours. That's the drawback, the biggest drawback, I think. And this is the gas cost for withdrawals. So withdrawals, you need to make an on-chain transaction in order to get your money back, and for challenges as well. And it scales logarithmically. And we can see that even with 1 billion users, the costs are still acceptable for the users. All right, so I showed you this this commit chain construction on which we can settle transactions. However, we can settle token swaps as well. And this is great to build a decentralized exchange, or rather, to be more accurate, a non-custodial exchange. And I believe this is something quite exciting. So let me explain you why I think it's cool by looking a bit at the history of exchanges. So at first, we had marketplaces where you would just walk in, and this was not so efficient. However, users controlled funds. You were physically exchanging your titles. And then in the digital age, we've seen stock exchanges such as the New York Stock Exchange. And this was great because it allowed for very fast trading, very high volume. However, users of this kind of give up their custody and don't control the funds anymore. Then we have seen like the cryptocurrency exchanges, which is just the replica of traditional exchanges, but for cryptocurrencies. And more recently, we've seen the apparition of decentralized exchanges. So those are great because they give back the control to users by allowing them to control the fund, to keep custody over it. However, they come with significant drawbacks, such as the biggest being it's very slow. And this is, I believe, the first reason why we haven't seen really liquid decentralized exchanges is because it doesn't match the performance that traders are expecting. However, it depends on transaction fees of the underlying blockchain, and it's prone to congestion attacks. So an exchange that is going to settle on the liquidity network's NOCUST will be fast because of this off-chain layer 2 settlement system. And it will allow for, and obviously users will have full control over the funds. It does not depend on transaction fees, and it's resilient against blockchain congestion attacks. So here it is. We announced it on testnet not so long ago. And yeah, you can have a try, and it works today. Okay, last, so this is our SDK. So if you wish to build a wallet with off-chain transaction capabilities or to operate an exchange, you can use this SDK to basically interact with commit chains. So that's it. Thank you. Please, if you're a technical reader, check the NOCUST academic paper. And otherwise, you can also try out our mobile wallet. Thank you very much.